Hey everybody, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I am so excited to be here because I was off in beautiful Tulum, Mexico for 8 days. It was amazing, and it was unique for my husband and I because we were without our children. And since we've had our twins, which they're 5.5 now, we have never had 8 days, just the two of us without anybody else, with no kids, nobody. So it was cool, and a lot kind of had to happen in order for that to happen for us. We don't really have a lot of family close by. My mom flew here from Edmonton to stay with our kids. My sister was helping out. Like, a lot of stuff had to happen in order for us to be able to go away. So we really enjoyed it. I highly recommend going to Tulum if you haven't been. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. The weather was amazing, and yeah, we had a fantastic time. And now I'm back to beautiful Vancouver, where it is raining like crazy, but I try not to complain about the weather, so I'm not complaining. Other than the fact that I just straightened my hair, so that might get a little cray-cray when I go outside. So let's get into it. So it's Wellness Wednesday. You guys know that we are slowly starting to move into this mind, body, soul motherhood with the brand and with Modern Mommy Prep School. I really want to inspire moms to take good care of themselves so that they can take good care of their kids, not just from a parenting perspective, but just from a mind, body, soul perspective. So I thought, what better time than today, Wellness Wednesday, to talk about my top 5 tips to keep you and your family healthy. And especially this season, I know everybody's always concerned about making sure that their kids are not getting sick and that they're not getting sick, and everybody's trying to up their health game. And I just want to preface this by saying these top 5 tips I'm going to give you don't require anything special. You don't have to go out and buy any supplements. You're not going to need to purchase any extra stuff. This is stuff that you can start right now, today. You don't need anything extra to do this. Of course, there's a lot of things that we as a family do on top of the things I'm going to share with you today. We do take supplements, and we do use essential oils, and we do it all. We do a lot of stuff. But if you're first starting out, sometimes it can feel very overwhelming. So these are just 5 things that you can incorporate into your life right now that require nothing else. And once you start getting into the groove of that, then you can get into the other stuff. And you know what? Out of these 5 things, if you only want to do one, you can just do one, okay? Just incorporate one of these things to start, and then you can start doing the rest later. So thing number 1, okay? This is so cliche and so obvious, and you hear it all the time, but I'm gonna start with it, which is to increase your water intake. Okay, so I'm one to talk. I only just started practicing what I'm preaching. I just turned 42 this week, okay? For the first, I'd say easily 30 to 35 years of my life, I could go all day without drinking any water. I'm not kidding you. I don't know where that came from. I don't know why that was. It's not that I hated the taste of it. It just never occurred to me to drink water. I didn't feel that thirsty throughout the day, and so I wouldn't really drink water. In fact, just yesterday I was talking to a girlfriend who was telling me that her daughter, who just started kindergarten, can go all day at kindergarten without going to the bathroom. And I was laughing because that used to be me. I went through all 12 years of school, 13 years of school, very rarely ever having to use the bathroom because I didn't drink water during the day. Now, I don't know if that's the case with my girlfriend's daughter. She was joking that she has a big bladder. But for me, it was definitely that I was not drinking water at all. So I didn't really start looking into the health benefits of water until I started hitting my 30s and started getting older and kind of starting to search, natural ways to stave off that Botox for as long as possible and keep my skin looking healthy and supple and young. And water kept coming up over and over. And the more I read about water, the more I realized, okay, I'm really missing a lot here. Gotta increase the water intake, okay? It's good for so many things. Most importantly, at this time of year, water is what helps build that mucus and helps flush things out of your body. So if you don't have enough water in your body, you're not doing that. So when you've got a lot of water in your body, everything's free flowing. You're able to sweat things out well. You're able to pee things out. It helps all your cellular, all your cellular functions that are happening. It's great for your kidneys. Like your kidneys do all the processing of the toxins and the waste in your body that ends up getting, put through your bladder and out in your urine. If you don't have enough water to help the kidneys process that, then your body's kind of in a deficiency. And our bodies are like 60% water, okay? It's like 2/3 water. We use water for everything. So it's really important just to maintain just your normal body function. Forget about staying young and keeping your skin supple and all that. Just to maintain normal body function, the average person needs about your body weight divided by 2 in ounces, okay? So if you, let's say for simple math, you weigh 200 pounds, you need 100 ounces of water a day just to stay healthy. It's always good to have a little bit more. But for the average person who's between 100 and 200 pounds, this is gonna work out to between 2 and 3 liters of water a day. If you've got a small child, again, just do the math. If you've got a 50-pound child, they need 25 ounces of water. And what I always say, the easiest way to incorporate more water into your life is to get rid of the other stuff. Try to reduce the juice, the sugary drinks, the sodas, the coffee, all that other stuff you're drinking throughout the day. Just replace that with water. Our kids, I do make fresh pressed juice and smoothies for them to drink on a pretty regular basis, but for the most part, our kids drink water, okay? So we don't drink milk in our home. We don't drink juice, like packaged juice. Like we don't buy juice at the grocery store. We don't buy soda. We don't drink any of that stuff. Just water is a great replacement for all those things. And if you don't like the taste of water, make it fizzy water, okay? If you don't like the taste of water, you can add some like lime to it or lemon to it. And adding those things is really beneficial for you too, because they have some nutrients and vitamins in them as well. So adding some berries or some lemons or limes or whatever you like to add, cucumbers, makes your water taste great. So increasing the water intake, number one way that you can improve your health. I started, I'd say just in this last 9 months, really upping my water game. Like I would wake up in the morning and purposely guzzle like a big 500 milliliter thing of water before I did anything else. And then I would just fill up my 2-liter bottle and try to drink that at least once, if not twice in a day. And just keeping it at your side, as all day long, is the best way to consume it, and great for your kids. The other thing I want to mention about water here is I notice a lot of people around me will complain about their joints hurting, especially older people. So if you're kind of getting up into your 40s and your 50s and you're an active person, or maybe you're not an active person but you notice your joints are hurting, your cartilage that surrounds all your joints is 80% water, okay? This is what I mean when I say everything in your body requires water, some more than others. Your cartilage is 80% water, so if you're not consuming enough water, you're gonna notice it in your joints. So if you're starting to feel like you've got achy joints, I mean, obviously there's lots of reasons why you might have achy joints, but that will be a good place to start, is to examine how much water you might be drinking, okay? That's thing number 1, increase your water intake, super good for you. Number 2, decrease the amount of sugar you are eating. We have so much sugar in our food now, like just sugar that we don't even know is there. So please get it out of your diet. You guys, sugar is so bad for you, and this isn't just like, people are not just throwing this stuff out there. There is actual proof now that sugar feeds cancer, sugar decreases your immunity. And, it's no coincidence that at this time of year, people say it's cold and flu season, okay? Have you ever thought about how the flu knows what season it is? Okay? The flu doesn't know that it's flu season. There's a reason that we are more prone to getting sick at this time of year. And I'll mention a couple of those reasons right now, but the first reason is the sugar. Between September and January, We consume way more sugar because of all the holidays. You've got the Christmas parties, you've got Thanksgiving, you've got going back to school. Like, my kids just started kindergarten, and I am shocked. In the first week that they started school, the first week, okay, like they went to school for like 4 days, the amount of sugar that was introduced to them in that first week, there was like 2 birthday parties, people brought donuts and cupcakes. They came home one day with lollipops in their bag. Another day they came home with gummy worms. I was like, what the heck is going on here? So it's just, I'm learning the nature of school. There's sugary treats everywhere. So just school alone, you are consuming so much more sugar. And then, like I said, you've got all these other functions going on. You know, there's Canadian Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all the holiday parties. You're consuming way more sugar. It decreases your immunity, and it lessens your body's ability to fight anything off, okay? So you really want to start to avoid sugar. The other thing is like the cancer. Like I mentioned before, sugar feeds cancer, and this is a fact. Tumors grow faster in the presence of sugar. The studies have been done. This isn't just willy-nilly stuff that people are throwing out there. This is true. And completely eliminating sugar from your diet is the best thing to do. But, you know, if you can't do that, then you do it in moderation and do the best that you can. A great way to start to reduce sugar from your diet is to do it in little steps. First thing, get rid of the white sugar. Get rid of the white sugar in your home. If you use sugar for your baking, or you use it for your coffee, or you use it for your tea, or you put it in stuff, get rid of the white sugar and try to find a substitute. Maple syrup, honey, brown sugar, cane sugar, coconut sugar. It's not good for you by any means, but it's way better than processed white sugar. So start there. Start to kind of change your taste around sugar. Then you can slowly start to eliminate it. Then it's like, okay, maybe I'll have 1 teaspoon less of honey today, or maybe I'll have 1 teaspoon less of maple syrup, or I'll put in 1 teaspoon. So do it really, really slowly. Your taste buds will adapt. Same with your kids, right? Anything we do with our kids, if you don't, I always say with kids, you start as you mean to go. From a very young age, if you have young kids, the best thing to do is don't introduce them to sugar in the first place. Give them real whole food, try to avoid the sugary treats, and they will automatically have a very low threshold for sugar. They'll eat pure sugar and think it's too sweet. I'm an example of that. That's where my kids are at, because we don't give them those treats. When they get treats, they self-regulate. They know when to shut off because they're like, this is too sweet. So if you've got kids who are at a place where they love sugar and they have a high threshold for sugar, just start to take it down slowly. That's how you're going to get them to cut the sugar out completely. Okay? Now, I mentioned flu season and some of the other reasons why we're prone to getting more sick at this time of year. The increased amount of sugar we consume is one. The second reason is sunshine, vitamin D. Okay? Vitamin D is great for your immune system. That your body makes vitamin D when you're in the sunshine, and this boosts your immunity. So when you're in the sun and you've got increasing daylight hours from, January onwards and into the summer, and you're spending time outside and you're getting lots of sunshine, your body is in an elevated state of immunity. So you might be exposed to the flu or a cold or, somebody's cough, but your body's able to fight it off and prevent you from getting sick because you've got elevated levels of vitamin D. Once August passes, a couple things happen. The amount of sunshine we experience decreases drastically, and suddenly we're all back indoors again, right? We're going back to work. We're going back to school, university, whatever. Now all of a sudden you're spending all this time indoors. You're not getting that same amount of sunlight, not even close to what you were getting in the summertime. So not the same amount of sunshine. Now you've got less vitamin D, a reduction in immunity. Boom. Another thing that makes you prone to catching a cold or getting the flu. Okay. Third, what happens in the fall? We go back inside, like I mentioned. We go back to school, we go back into work, we're sitting in these clustered little offices and spaces, we're on the subway to get to work. We are surrounded by germs. We're in close proximity to other people's germs, and this obviously increases our exposure to potentially getting sick. So those are just some of the things. There's a few other things, but I want to kind of stay on track. But next time somebody tells you it's cold and flu season, no, it's not cold and flu season. Okay, it's the season of reduced immunity. Cold and flu season is all year round. You are just as prone to getting a flu now as you are in March or April. It's just that our immunity is much higher because of some of these things that we are not doing, that we're doing in the fall. All right, so decrease your sugar intake, decrease your kids' sugar intake. Do it slowly, but do it. Number 3, increase the amount of real food you eat, okay? More fruits, more vegetables, less packaged food. Just read ingredients. You know, if possible, don't buy food that comes in a package. Try to feed your family real whole food, period. Do that as much and as often as you can. I know it's not easy, okay? I'm a mom too, I get it. We've got lots going on. Sometimes you gotta throw that packaged treat in your kid's lunch because you don't have time to make something else. I get it. But if you're gonna do that, read the ingredients. Try to make purchases or choices that have the least amount of ingredients, and those ingredients should be things that you know what they are, okay? Real food. There's lots of brands out there. You know, everyone's getting on this health train now. People are starting to realize how important real food is, how important it is to have ingredients that we can pronounce. And so there's lots of companies out there catering to us moms, okay? So find who they are in your area, wherever you shop. Demand things to be brought in. You're the consumer. You can go to your local grocery store and say, I would really like it if you guys would carry this brand. So make sure that you are educating yourself that if you do have to buy packaged food, you know what the good packaged food is to buy. So just increase the consumption of real food in your family. The best stuff is obviously vegetables, and I always say cruciferous vegetables are the best. And ladies, the reason cruciferous vegetables are the best for you is because they balance your hormones. So by cruciferous vegetables, I mean broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts is a cruciferous vegetable. All of those things, they balance your hormones. There is a component in cruciferous vegetables called DIM, D-I-M, and this binds to estrogen and carries it out of your body. So you might not care about this when you're in your 20s, but as you get into your 30s and 40s and 50s and your hormones start to change, estrogen plays a big role in many different things in your body, and it also plays a big role in female hormone-related cancers. So breast cancer, endometrial cancer, ovarian cancer, these are all female hormone-related cancers that oftentimes are mediated by estrogen. Not always, but often. And any woman should be aware of this, because now we've got so many things in our environment that mimic estrogen, and these are causing our personal hormones to go haywire. Everything from, you know, things you would never even think. You know, we always talk about plastics and BPA and all that stuff. Those are some of the things, but even things like taking a receipt. When you go grocery shopping and you take a receipt, the ink on that receipt contains something that mimics estrogen, okay? It gets absorbed into your body. So it's stuff like that. You guys, we're surrounded by it, okay? And you can't build a wall around yourself and completely shut the world out and not expose yourself to any of that stuff. So what ends up happening is your body starts to accumulate it, and you get this overload of fake estrogen. Your body's trying to make real estrogen, and everything just becomes a mess, okay? So if you want to stay balanced with your hormones, another way, I mean, you can go get tested to see what your estrogen levels are. But another way to tell if you've got a hormone imbalance is if you've got PMS symptoms. Any kind of PMS symptoms that last more than a day or two are not normal, okay? I just learned this recently, guys. I had PMS symptoms for years and years and years that would fluctuate. Sometimes they'd start like 2 weeks before, sometimes a week. And I just, for the longest time, I didn't know. I didn't realize what was going on. But then my mom developed a hormone-related cancer. I started doing some research and kind of digging into it a little bit and learning more about it and realizing that actually when that's happening, that's a sign that your body is in a state of flux. Okay, you've got a lot going on. So hormone-related cancers, that can often be, if you've got the symptoms like the PMS and like there's something off there. Okay, that could be potentially a warning sign for you to make sure that you're getting your hormones balanced so that you're avoiding bigger problems later on down the road. So that's super important to make sure that you are incorporating the cruciferous vegetables in your diet just for women, but just for your kids in general. Cruciferous vegetables are super great. So those would be the most important real foods that you want to incorporate. My husband just tuned in. He's so supportive. Thanks, honey. So real food, super important. Get out the packaged stuff and increase the real food. And guys, people always say, how do you get your kids to eat real food? And my kids won't eat that. That's not the case. That's a limiting belief. Okay, we talked about limiting beliefs a couple of episodes ago on the podcast. If you missed it, go check it out. A limiting belief is when you put a ceiling on yourself or on your child and just say they won't do that or we can't do that. That's not true. Okay, when you say they won't do that, they won't do it. Open that up, take that ceiling away, and tell yourself that your child will eat anything, and they will. It just takes time. If you haven't already been raising your kids to experiment with new foods, their taste buds are not developed in that way. Of course it's going to take time. It takes time for anybody, right? It takes time for you. If you're a grown woman or man, it takes time to work your way into eating more vegetables and less pizza and all that stuff. So give your kids some grace, give yourself some grace. It takes time. Start by just introducing these foods slowly. I'm not a fan of hiding vegetables in your kids' food. I don't like to do that. I like to just have open, honest conversations with my kids about why things are important. We talk a lot about being healthy. We talk a lot about, taking good care of your body and making sure that you're not getting sick. And we talk about why real food is important. And so, I just encourage them to try stuff. And I don't want to have to hide their vegetables. I want them to know what they're eating and not feel like I have to sneak it into their food. If you have to sneak it in, but really just start by, having that conversation and just say, today we're going to try this. We're going to try broccoli. Look, it looks like little trees. So just introducing it slowly to your kids, they will slowly start to develop a love for it. And they're just little human beings. They're not going to love everything, okay? But increasing the amount of real food you're eating is going to get them the nutrients that they need. And more now than ever, I'm convinced, for anybody who's got any kind of autoimmune disease, if you or someone has any type of autoimmune disease, whether it's MS, Parkinson's, whatever it is, if you've been diagnosed or you know someone who has, I highly recommend this book. Okay, it's called The Walls Protocol. Autoimmune diseases, it's really just the same thing. Whatever they're named, whatever they're called, whether it's Parkinson's or MS or whatever it is, it really just means that your immune system is attacking itself for whatever reason. Something has triggered it and it's attacking itself. This book, I read this book because my mother-in-law was diagnosed with MS 9 years ago, and almost 9 years ago. We've slowly watched her on her journey of progressing through MS, and I really want to help her. And after watching my dad die and seeing that some of the things that we did to help my dad actually helped him and worked, and from all the research I was doing, seeing what a big role other things other than drugs can play in chronic illness and terminal illness really got me thinking about her. And I started doing some digging, and I found out about this doctor. Her name is Dr. Terry Walls. She's a medical doctor. She was a typical medical doctor, didn't have a lot of training in nutrition or anything alternative or functional. She was a total medical doctor, She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and she just declined and declined and declined to the point where she was in a tilt recline wheelchair, okay? If you don't know what that is, it's a wheelchair that tilts backwards that people use because their muscles get so weak that they cannot even sit upright in a regular wheelchair. So she couldn't sit upright in a regular wheelchair because she was so weak and had progressed so deeply from the multiple sclerosis that she had to get into a tilt recline wheelchair where she was backwards like this, so that she could, be aligned, so that her spine was straight. So she was in a tilt recline wheelchair and she was declining quickly, deteriorating quickly, and she just thought to herself, modern medicine is failing me, I gotta try something else. And that is what triggered her to start pouring into research and really researching nutrients and vitamins that could, first she learned obviously what was causing the MS, and then she figured out what nutrients and vitamins and things she could be taking in to heal some of the damage that may have caused her multiple sclerosis. And this was, I think, years of research that she put into this. And she ended up coming up with this formula of, it's mostly a diet, but there's some other stuff too. It's a little bit complex, but the main component of it is diet, and it focuses on getting your nutrition and your nutrients and your vitamins through food. So she doesn't advocate a ton of supplements. She advocates that you get all the different nutrients and vitamins you need through food. She healed herself, okay? She got out of her tilt recline wheelchair, and I think she did like a bike marathon or something like that. I think it was, I want to say about a year or two after she started this protocol, she was doing a bike marathon or a bike race. She healed herself, and today she is alive and well and healthy, and she's got a Facebook page, Dr. Terry Walls, if you want to go follow her. She does lives just like this. She shares information. She's fabulous. I read this book. We're helping my mother-in-law. We've got her started on the protocol. It's been a very short time, so we'll keep you posted. But my point here is reading this book just confirmed to me that health doesn't come in a bottle. It comes from our food, okay? And there's a lot of things, like she wants you to eliminate toxins and all this stuff, but it's like, if this can work for somebody who was in a tilt recline wheelchair, who has multiple sclerosis, or who has an autoimmune disease, then imagine what this can do for you. Just eating real food. Imagine what this could do for you and for your kids in terms of just keeping you healthy, so you never have to be in a place where you're desperately looking to heal yourself, okay? So the benefits of real food are immense. I highly recommend this book if you do have an autoimmune disease or know someone who does. But otherwise, just the benefits of increasing the amount of real food you're eating and decreasing the amount of processed crap and packaged food, the benefits are immense, okay? Okay, fourth thing, we're almost at the end here. You know this already, movement. Movement, sweating, exercise. It doesn't have to be an hour at the gym every day. It just has to be anything that gets your heart going, gets you sweating a little bit. I don't need to talk about the benefits of exercise. I think we all know them. I think the most important benefit of exercise is twofold. A, you're sweating it out. You're sweating out those toxins. You're getting rid of all the stuff that's kind of lodged in there, in terms of the toxins that come out through your sweat. And two, exercising is also great for your hormones, okay? And there's a lot of hormones in your body that control your mood and your health. So when you exercise, you increase the good hormones and decrease the bad hormones. So for me, exercise is important for those two reasons, but obviously there's tons of other benefits. Great for your heart, great for your muscles, great for your joints. So you want to exercise, you want to get your kids exercising. There's a lot of simple ways to do that. If you can't get outside and exercise, or you don't have access to a gym, just do it at home. Get a skipping rope. Skip for 5 minutes every day. Do some jumping jacks. Make a party of it every night before you go to bed. Do a little bit of movement with your kids. If you're not hardcore into exercising, just start. Just start somewhere. Get up in the morning and do 10 jumping jacks and 10 sit-ups and 10 push-ups. Start like that. Just do it, okay? Just do it. Just get started. Your kids will do whatever you do. Your kids, if they're young, they emulate you, they copy you. You are setting an example for them. So just get started, get them into it. If they're in other extracurricular activities, that's great. But most kids are not in an extracurricular activity. 7 days a week, but we need to be incorporating some type of movement 7 days a week when possible. So just try to do that. All right, so exercise, simple one. It gets hard around this time of year. I know it's cold outside, it's gloomy, you're busy with the kids and with work, but just make a habit of it. There's little things you can do. There's tons, you can go onto Pinterest and get lots of little ideas for quick workouts. My favorite workout, guys, is called the Tabata workout. It is 4 minutes of exercise in intervals of like 38 intervals of 30 seconds. So basically what happens is you work out hard for 20 and rest for 10. And then you do that 8 times, and that's 4 minutes. And you can do that with anything. So you can skip rope for 20 seconds, take a rest for 10, skip for 20, rest for 10, that's 1 minute. And then you just do that 8 times, that's 4 minutes. I mean, that's not gonna make you into like a superstar athlete or anything like that, but it's a great way to incorporate some kind of activity into your day. If you don't have time for anything else, you've got 4 minutes. That kind of interval training has been shown to be really beneficial for your heart. But you got to go all out, okay? You're not just like 20 seconds of easy exercise and then 10 seconds of rest. It's like you're pushing hard for 20 seconds, whatever it is, running, you're sprinting hard for 20 seconds, you're you know, whatever it is. Pick the exercise, do that for 20, rest for 10, do that 8 times. That's a 4-minute Tabata. And you can even get apps now that are like interval timers where you can set a Tabata timer for, you know, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Lots of ways that make it easy for you. So just exercise, incorporate movement. And finally, the final thing that you can do to stay healthy this season is my favorite, which is mindfulness and or meditation. Okay, I know that a lot of people out there are sick of hearing about meditation, or they don't really understand it, or they don't think that they can do it because it's hard for them, or they don't really get what the point is. The thing is that, again, just like the other things I'm talking about, this isn't just some woo-woo thing. There are actual studies now that show that completely clearing your mind reduces stress and has a ton of wonderful benefits for your body and your brain. You know, when my dad was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, which is called glioblastoma, and by the way, rest in peace to Gord Downey today. He passed away, and he had glioblastoma. I remember when he was diagnosed, my dad had just been diagnosed as well with the same brain cancer. It is a deadly brain cancer. Very few people survive it. If anything, they'll survive a few years longer, but it's deadly. I remember when my dad was diagnosed, just thinking to myself, I was in shock. And I think everybody's in shock when they hear that a loved one has cancer, but it was my dad who was really healthy. Like, he was 68 years old, but he hadn't retired yet, and he led a pretty healthy life. He didn't have any exorbitant, you know, crazy habits. He ate fairly healthy. He just had a healthy lifestyle, and he wasn't on any medication for anything. Like, he was a very healthy 68-year-old man, like no pharmaceuticals, no red flags, and suddenly he was diagnosed, and it just really got me thinking about that mind-body connection, especially a brain tumor. Kind of started getting me thinking about the effects that stress can have on your body, and now there is a lot of data that shows that stress in your mind can also be one of the contributors to cancer. And my dad had a high stress personality, you know, like he wasn't like, you wouldn't know it by looking at him, but he was the type of person, like, his mind was always going. He was always thinking. He was a really smart guy. He was super, super smart. He was always thinking ahead. And, you know, he had a lot on his brain. Like, he came here from India. He worked his butt off for his family. He was always just, I think he had inner stress, like, in his brain. It wasn't like he was, like, stressed out, where I could see him stressed out, but I know in his brain he had it. And he was a thinker. And it just really got me thinking about this mind-body connection and how important it is to be healthy everywhere. It's not just about what you eat. It's not just about, you know, eliminating toxins from your environment. It's a combination of things. So after my dad's diagnosis, I had always meditated a little bit here and there, very sporadically. I was into it. But I really started reading about it when he got sick, and just learning that completely clearing your mind and being in the present moment does have significant health benefits. It reduces cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and that cortisol causes all kinds of havoc in your body. So from there, I just did more and more reading and more kind of digging, and just learning that that there is something to this. There is something to meditation and mindfulness, and the studies that they have done have shown tons of benefits, which I can get to another day if you're interested. We can talk about them. But the idea here is at least once a day, if not more than once a day, you want to be in a place where you're making space in your mind and you're doing nothing and you're thinking about nothing and you're just focusing on one thing. That's meditation, okay? Being able to completely clear your mind, either focus on your breath, focus on a sound, focus on a mantra, just pretty much nothing. Doing that alone I think the optimum benefit has been shown at 27 minutes a day. If you can do it for 27 minutes a day, you are completely exponentially up-leveling your health. Like, that's a fact, if you can do it for 27 minutes a day. Now, not everybody can do it for 27 minutes a day, so I say start with one. Start with 1 minute and then move on. That's true meditation, being able to clear your mind. A lot of people will say, I can't do that. I can't sit still and completely think about nothing. But that's not the point of meditation. The point of meditation is repetition. So it's like a muscle. Every time you stray away and come back, you're building that muscle, and you'll find that you can start to go longer and longer. So I always say to people, you know what, first start with a guided meditation or a visualizing meditation where you're closing your eyes and maybe you're imagining a beautiful sunset. And you're just imagining the beautiful sunset. You close your eyes and you're just thinking about that. And once you do that, that's it. Just focus on that. And then before you know it, your mind starts to wander. Your husband comes into the beautiful sunset with you, and you start, planning your next vacation, and then you're thinking about if WestJet's got any flight sales on right now, and then you're thinking about how much that would cost, and then you're like, oh my God, what's the date today? Have I paid the bills this month? Right? That's what happens when you're meditating. Just bring it back. You catch yourself, okay, my mind is wandering, bring it back to the beautiful sunset. The act of going back and forth is what meditation is, and is the practice that we're trying to do. That's why it's a practice, right? You do it over and over and over. That's why it's called a meditation practice. So that's meditation. Now, if you're thinking, I can't do that. I still can't do that. I don't care what you say. I can't sit down and I can't clear my mind and I don't want to do it. Or maybe I know some people have this like religious thing with it, right? They think meditation is this like Buddhist, Eastern religion thing, and maybe they're strong on their faith and they don't feel like doing that. You don't have to call it meditation. You can call it anything. You call it tuning out. You can also call it mindfulness. Now, I did a Facebook Live a few months back about using mindfulness as self-care for moms, because we always talk about self-care for moms and how important that is. And I always say that self-care doesn't mean a day at the spa, right? Self-care is so much more than that. It's really just nurturing that which allows you to be a mom and just making sure that that's in a good place. So mindfulness is, I guess it would be just like a step away from meditation, in that you're just being present in the moment with whatever it is that you're doing. That's what mindfulness is. So you're not thinking about other stuff. You're just doing that one thing and you're enjoying that one thing. And you can incorporate mindfulness into any part of your day. You can do it when you're eating. You can do it when you're drinking coffee, making coffee. You know who's really good at mindfulness is your kids. So if you have small children, just watch your kids when they're playing with their toys by themselves. Watch how they get really into just what they're doing. Kids are naturally mindful. Their brain is not racing, thinking about all the million other things that they have to do. They're not thinking about anything else. They are just truly being present in the play and being truly engaged with exactly what it is that they're doing. That is mindfulness. So just take a cue from your kids and do that. If you can pick 1 or 2 times of the day when you are, let's say, making coffee, okay? Just be mindful when you're making your coffee. Don't be doing a million other things. You can take that 2 minutes or 3 minutes or however many minutes it takes to make your coffee to just be present with your coffee, okay? Give your coffee some love. That's mindfulness. Enjoy hitting the button. Enjoy listening to the coffee coming down into the coffee cup. Enjoy the smell coming out of your coffee machine. Enjoy picking out the cup that you're gonna put the coffee in. Just like be thinking about your coffee and thinking about making your coffee and then pouring your coffee and holding your nice warm coffee mug. That's mindfulness. And if you can just do that, like completely tune everything else out for that 2 or 3 minutes while you're making your coffee, you have achieved somewhat of a benefit. It might not be the exact benefit of meditation, but it is a benefit of being mindful because you just focused on that one thing and you completely shut out everything else. Okay, again, all these the cortisol and all these like hormones that meditation and mindfulness affect, these also affect your immunity. It affects your immune system. So this is why we're talking about it. Being able to incorporate some type of blank space or, focused one thing that you're focusing on throughout the day boosts your immunity. So that's why we want to incorporate this into our day. And this is for your whole family, guys. So all these things I'm mentioning, the water, the sugar, the real food, the exercise, the mindfulness, try to get your whole family doing this. Kids are naturally mindful, so you don't have to purposefully do this with them. But I always say, don't overschedule your kids. Give them that time where they don't have to be focused on anything else. Don't put them in front of the TV. Don't have them overscheduled in a million extracurricular activities. Make sure they have time every day where they're playing, not with you, not with their siblings, but just by themselves. Okay, not reading a book. Just give them some Legos and tell them to go play. That is them being mindful. And there are a lot of ways to incorporate. If you are interested, by the way, in getting your kids to meditate, it's just like a step up from mindfulness, which kids naturally do. Meditation comes naturally to kids once you introduce them to it. So if that's something that you want to do, I will touch on that another time. We are working on some physical products right now for moms to teach their kids to meditate. I'm really excited about them. But in the meantime, if that's something that you would be interested in, let me know. I can do another Facebook Live on it. Our kids meditate. They're 5.5. I introduced meditation to them when they were 3. So can be done. I've got 2 boys, busy boys, and they meditate. So it's a great self-regulation tool to use with your kids anyway, but just giving them that tool just for life, I think is just a wonderful gift that you can give your kids. They're not going to do it if you don't do it. So, experiment yourself first with it, but that's just another way to boost your family's health and wellness, and especially your mental health when it comes to that. Okay, so that's it, guys. Now, I didn't see, here we go. I haven't swiped over to see what's going on here, or if I've got any questions. Let's see. There we go. All right, well, I don't see any comments coming through here. Maybe I'm missing them. I apologize if I am. But if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, just pop them into the comments and I will be looking for those and definitely will answer your questions. But those are the 5 top tips that of things that you can do to keep your family healthy this season. And just a couple of quick notes. Note number 1, if you are in the lower mainland of Vancouver and you are a pregnant or expecting mom and you're planning on attending the baby fair that's happening, Mums, Tums, and Babies, it's called, in Cloverdale. If you want to attend this is happening the first weekend of November, and I am going to be there. And I also have the wonderful privilege of giving out some free tickets. So if you want to attend this baby fair and you want free tickets, all you have to do is like this page. You have to like this Facebook business page and comment that you've liked the page and that you are interested in the free tickets, and I will send you a private message, and we'll communicate that way. I only have a limited number to give away, so it'll just be like the first, I think I have 10, so it'll be the first 10 people if you're interested. And so all you gotta do is like the Facebook business page, comment that you want tickets to the show, and then I will send you a private message. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is our podcast is going to be changing a little bit in January. You guys know that we've been primarily for new and expecting moms. We've got Mindset Monday episodes happening for all moms to uplevel your mom life from a mindset perspective. We're kind of combining those two things together, and we're changing the format a little bit in January of the show. So hopefully you will tune in. We're super excited, but one of the changes you'll notice is it won't always be audio interviews that I'm doing. So in January, we're going to be taking, actually I'm going to start doing this now, but you'll see it happening more closer to January. We are going to pull the audio from when I do something like this, which is a Facebook Live, and we're going to pull the audio and turn that into a podcast episode. So if you're missing the Facebook Lives, but you like listening to podcasts, because let's face it, there's a huge benefit, right? You can listen while you're driving, while you're working out. You can be much more productive. If you don't care about the video component, you get the audio on the podcast. So that's going to be one thing that you're going to see happening, is more audio that's been pulled from other places where I've gone live or done some sort of a talk. The other thing is we're starting a YouTube channel that is also going to be comprised of everything, right? So we're going to do a YouTube show, but then I'm also going to take these lives that I do and put them up on the YouTube channel so that you can catch the replay if you don't want to go scrolling for it on Facebook. So I'm pretty excited. We're expanding in lots of ways with the brand, lots of fun things happening, and I just like the ability of having, being able to interact with you guys and then have that go up into a podcast where people can hear me answering questions and stuff too. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope that was helpful for you. And make sure you tune in next Tuesday. We are going to be talking all about essential oils on the podcast. I've got Michelle White from Hip Natural Love on. We're talking all about essential oils and how they can be beneficial for new and expecting moms. I did do an Instagram live on why I love lemon essential oil when I was in Tulum last week. So if you missed that, make sure that you catch the replay of that. We are going to extract the audio from that and throw that up on the podcast as well. So thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for all the changes coming. And again, if you're in the Lower Mainland and you want tickets to the Mums, Tums, and Babies Fair that's happening, like the page, comment below, and we will see you guys next time.